Hey team, Dr. Slime here and welcome aboard. Today, we are getting up close and personal with the absolute heart of your vessel, the SCHOTTEL propulsion system. You know, the gear that gives you that incredible pinpoint control exactly when you need it. So yeah, let's get right into it.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. The wind is just screaming, the current is trying to drag you sideways, and you've got to somehow, gently, ease this massive vessel into a spot that feels way too small. Your heart's pounding, everyone's gone quiet. Yeah, that's the high-stakes moment we're talking about today. That's the problem we're here to solve.
Okay, but what if you had, like, a secret weapon for that exact moment? A teammate that gives you the power to turn that chaos into a perfectly controlled ballet. Well, say hello to your new best friend, the SCHOTTEL rudder prop. Seriously, this isn't just another piece of hardware. It's the key to having total, absolute control right when the pressure is on. So here's our game plan for today. First up, we'll meet our divine teammate at sea. Then, we're going to peek under the hood and see how its power heart works. After that, we'll talk about steering it and riding the waves. Then, the important stuff, what to do when those alarms go off. And finally, we'll wrap up with how to keep it in tip-top shape. Let's go.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, your divine teammate at sea. So what's the big deal? What makes this thing such a game changer for everyone on board? Let's find out. So, here's the magic trick. And it's all about one thing, 360-degree thrust. I mean, think about it. A normal ship has a prop pushing it forward and a rudder to steer. Kind of limited, right? But this can point its power in any direction. Sideways? Yep. Backwards? Easy. Some weird diagonal angle to fight the current? You got it. This is what gives you that incredible agility. It's the difference between driving a bus and a sports car. All right, so we know what it does, which is pretty awesome. But now for the really cool part. Let's head into Section 2 and see how it all works. We're going to look inside at what makes this power heart tick. Because, you know, understanding the how is what turns a good operator into a great one.
Okay, check this out. This is basically an EKG for your propulsion system. It's how you check its heartbeat. See Zone A? That's your healthy, steady rhythm. Everything's running smooth. If you start seeing numbers in Zone B, that's like a little warning light on your dashboard. It's time to take a look, check the alignment, maybe see what's going on. But Zone C is the big one. That's a stop everything right now alarm. Seriously, shut it down and investigate because you're in the danger zone for major damage. This little chart, it's your #1 diagnostic tool.
Now, like any piece of high-tech gear, it has a few golden rules. First, don't run it at super low speeds for a long time. It sounds counterintuitive, but it needs a certain speed to keep everything properly lubricated. Too slow, and you're basically running it dry. Second, try not to let it just windmill in the current. That puts a lot of needless wear on the bearings. And of course, stick to the maintenance schedule. And this is a big one. If anything feels, sounds, or looks wrong, shut it down immediately. Trust your instincts. Following these isn't optional. It's what guarantees this thing will have your back for years to come. Okay, theory's over. We know how the heart beats. Now let's head up to the bridge for Section 3. Steer it, ride the waves. This is where we learn how to actually command this beast and make the ship do exactly what we want. So, this thing is super responsive, but you've got to respect the laws of physics, right? Here's the deal. When you're moving fast, like over 12 knots, you can't just crank the wheel hard over. Those sharp turns put a massive amount of stress on the whole unit. The rule of thumb is simple. The faster you're going, the gentler your turns need to be. So ease up on those steering angles to avoid putting too much strain on your gear. It's all about smooth control. And check out how easy it is to work with the autopilot. You just hit one button to switch it on, boom, it lights up, and the autopilot is in charge. But what's really, really important is how you take control back in a hurry. All you have to do is move the handle more than a tiny bit. A buzzer goes off to let you know, hey, you're in charge now, and you're instantly back in full manual mode. It's designed to be fast and intuitive for those exact moments when you need to react instantly. All right, everything's great when it's running smoothly, but we all know things don't always go according to plan. So let's talk about Section 4, what to do when alarms sound. Look, nobody likes hearing that buzzer or seeing a red light, but being prepared means turning that panic into a plan. Okay, so that red light starts flashing. First things first, take a breath. Don't panic. The system is smart. It's trying to tell you something. Your first job isn't to start guessing, it's to listen. Just gather the facts, nice and calm.
And before we even talk about troubleshooting, we have to stop and talk about safety. This warning is deadly serious. The oil in these hydraulic lines is under insane pressure. We're talking enough pressure to cause fatal injuries. So before you ever touch a line or a fitting, you absolutely must make sure the system is depressurized. No exceptions. This isn't a suggestion, it's a life-saving rule.
So the whole trick to fault finding is just having a simple game plan. Think of this as your cheat sheet. If you see a red light, then your first move is to check the display for the error code. If you see a specific code, like in F6, then you check the system log for the nitty-gritty details. If you hear a weird noise or feel a strange vibration, then you go right back to that vibration chart we talked about. See? It's a simple, logical process that takes the guesswork out of it. And that brings us to our final section, number 5, keeping it in top condition. We've talked about how to run it and how to fix it, so now let's talk about how to love it. This is all about the long game, proper maintenance to make sure your partner at sea is always ready to perform. Good maintenance is all about the calendar. This is your schedule. The first 6 months are super important. That's when you do an initial check on all the bolts and nuts, just to make sure everything's settled in nicely. After that, it's a full checkup and cleaning every 18 months. Simple as that. The other ones here are really just for units that have been sitting in storage to make sure they're good to go. And when it's time to clean, how you do it matters a lot. Here are the big do's and don'ts. For switch cabinets, do use a vacuum cleaner. Don't use compressed air. That can just blast dust into places you really don't want it. For electronics, use dry, non-sharp tools. And please, please do not use a high-pressure cleaner on the unit. Gentle and careful is the way to go. And of course, always wear your PPE. Okay, and here is our last and probably most important safety rule. Electricity. Before you do any work, especially near the electrical cabinets, you switch off the power. But it's more than that. You have to make sure it cannot be switched back on by accident. That means lock it out, tag it out, make it impossible for someone to flip that switch while you're working. This isn't just a good idea, it's a rule that literally saves lives. So, let's bring it all home. The big idea here is that your shuttle system isn't just a piece of equipment. It really is your partner out there on the water. If you take the time to understand it, operate it the right way, and keep it maintained, it's going to have your back every single time. It's that partnership that gives you the safety and performance you count on. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. After everything we've gone over today, the vibration checks, the operating rules, the safety stuff, what's the one thing, just one little thing, that you're going to add to your own routine? What's one check you'll start doing to know your system just a little bit better? Give it some thought.
And that's a wrap on our tour of the shuttle system. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, Dr. Slime. I really hope this was useful for you. Stay safe out there, have a smooth voyage, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next explainer. See ya!